I'd like to recognize the Vice Chairman of the Subcommittee on Courts, Intellectual Property, and the Internet, the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Collins, who has made such a tremendous contribution to this effort, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, it's been a long time coming. It's all started with, for me, it goes back to a hope, it goes back to a dream, it goes back to being able to do what you love and to have it listened to and actually rewarded for that creative spark that is within each of us. It spans music, it spans generations, and it spans everything. And in fact, even when I was running this morning, I had a song come in that took me back to a place that I had not been in many years. This is more important than business, it's more important than legislation, but today we are legislating, and that is what is good about this place. For all that is written, and all that is even going to be written about today with all of the intrigue of this hill, at the end of the day, it's about legislating and doing what is right. And for Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your work. I want to thank the ranking member for his work in bringing this hearing and bringing this together. The Music Modernization Act is critically important to updating our outdated and inefficient music licensing system. I introduced the original bill by the same name after years of judiciary hearings, dozens if not hundreds of meetings, and advice from Copyright Office. With the partnership of Mr. Jeffries, Senator Hatch, Senator Alexander, and others, we were able to craft legislation that truly takes strides for songwriters and the entire music ecosystem. The bill represents unprecedented consensus. Groups that haven't been able to agree in decades come together to make these improvements for the benefit of music creators, users, and lovers. And the bill builds on the reforms proposed by Chairman Smith more than 10 years ago when he had the foresight to see that our music licensing laws weren't reflective of today's realities. I was sitting here today, and as I came up, I looked at this package of support and all the groups, over 50 groups and over 25,000 songwriters. And I thought to myself, just laughing inside, because I can remember when I first met with some of these groups, we couldn't meet in the same room without having serious issues of life and consequence. But when you take the time to listen to each other, when you take the time to still believe that this is a great place and that legislating can happen, that is truly a creative spark in and of itself. I got into the music licensing issues after years of hearing from songwriters just how skewed the current system is. I introduced the Songwriter Equity Act the last two Congresses and incorporated provisions of that bill into the Music Modernization Act to ensure songwriters are compensated more fairly for the use of their works. This bill is a testament to the advocacy of songwriters and the importance of their voices. It's also a clear illustration of bipartisanship at its best. Mr. Jeffries and I have worked side by side, and digital companies and songwriters and publishers bridged their own kind of partisan divide and also came together to make this a reality. Congressman Jeffries, thank you. You have shown, and this has shown, how we can truly work together. The committee product provides and combines the bills with the Classics Act, the AMP Act, and the rate standardization provision is a testament to the work of not only the members I have mentioned above, but also to your work and the work of Ranking Member Nadler, Mr. Issa, Mr. Crowley, and Mr. Rooney. For those who have gotten to know me, and many in this room, that I'm looking out now at a full hearing on copyright, you know this has become more than just a passing fancy for me. It's become something that means a great deal to me because as a trooper's kid from North Georgia, the radio and books were my ticket to the world. It showed me places, it took me places, and still to this day, shows me a better world, a turn of a phrase, and maybe just another brighter day. In moments of doubt, it gives me hope. In moments of sadness, it gives me joy. In moments of joy, sometimes it reminds me of sadness to keep me grounded. And for the folks who have come together to work on this bill, I want to thank so many of these groups, and there's literally a whole page and a half here, but NMPA, DEMA, ASCAP, BMI, SONA, NASI, Bart, I'll get it right, Songwriters Guild, RIAA, Recording Academy, and many others. Thank you for your help. But Mr. Chairman, there are many times that members are unduly thanked and also, frankly, sometimes unduly criticized. But there is one thing true about this bill. I have a personal office that I believe truly is my family extended. And over the past year, after taking the challenge of coming together, we did that for the past few years, and especially this last year. I don't know amazingly how we got other bills passed, which we have, but my legislative director, Sally Rose, my chief of staff, Brendan, have put over probably 1,000 hours into a single piece of legislation. They've worked with other offices, they've went with places, they've listened to hearings, they've listened to everybody. They would call me in when I needed to come in, and I sat through hours, and we moved it on. But to the two of them, and to a community sitting behind you, words are not enough. So I just want to say thank you to the two of you for keeping us going. And for those of you sitting in this audience, dreams can come true. Hope is still alive when we come together and listen to each other. For the rest of the world, this may not seem like a big deal. But as I said from that dais down there just a little while back, a few years ago, if we look for an answer for 10 to 15 years out, there are going to be people listening to music, new music, and songs that will change their life because of what this committee and what you have done today. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.